Thank you, Cheryl. It's now my great pleasure to introduce the beginning of our entertainment for the evening. We're now going to have Attila the Stockbroker, who's got his name because he used to be a stockbroker, even though maybe for a couple of months they didn't like him and he didn't like them. But that was about 30 years ago. Now, for 30 years, he's been self-employed as a poet. There's not many people can say that in Britain, and he's perhaps not the sort of poets that some people have heard. He's not the poet laureate, although I think he may be the poet laureate at Brighton Hove Albion Football Club. I first come across him 25 years ago. He has been on full-time tour for 30 years. And we did have him here a few years ago, but back by popular demand, he's come back to Wolverhampton. We are very lucky this evening to have him because he's been on tour in Australia and New Zealand in the last few weeks, and he has come back, especially because we booked him early to Wolverhampton. That was even more important than the whole of the southern half of this planet. So one of my, well, I'm not saying one of my favourites, my very favourite, Attila the Stockbroker. Thank you.
I was never a stockbroker, I was a clerk. I was the lowest of the low. I hated them, they hated me. One day someone told me I had the manners of Attila the Hun, and I thought, Attila the Stockbroker, that's a good stage name. As still me in good stead for 30 years. It's lovely, cheers for Nick for inviting me back, and I should start off with the poem that I wrote about the people that I work with in the stock exchange. Because I got two things that were really good out of that job. One was my stage name, and the other was this poem, which I wrote about the people that I work with, and it's called Every Time I Eat Vegetables, It Makes Me Think of You. No agony, no ecstasy, no pleasure and no pain. So exquisitely uninteresting you drive your wife insane. The TV is your oracle, the newspaper's your guide, and your shiny little vehicle is your passion and your pride. You've done the same things every day for nigh on 20 years, and in your ludicrous routines you hide your worthless fears. On the blandest boat in boredom, you are captain of the crew, and every time I eat vegetables it makes me think of you. You died the day that you were born, and now you sit and rot. An empty-headed dinosaur in the pond that time forgot. Your image is respectable, there's nothing underneath, and the whole thing is as surely false as 9/10 of your teeth. Your views are carbon copies of the rubbish that you read, and you swallow every morsel Rupert Murdoch seeks to feed. You go to bed at 10 because you've nothing else to do, and every time I eat vegetables it makes me think of you. You're a cabbage in a pickle, and your brain has sprung a leak. So let us keep our distance, because I vomit when you speak. I'll always do a runner, so I'm going where you've been, because to see you chills my marrow and turns my tomatoes green. You're an 18-carat cretin with a dandelion wine, so stick to your herbaceous border and I'll stick to mine. And although this verse is corn, it's amazing, but it's true, that every time I eat vegetables, it makes me think of you. Cheers. 30 years I've had one, and they don't come easy, they're not handed out for fun. You have to earn it, work and sweat and move, not get stuck in a dead poet bore groove. I earn mine in dirty, scummy punk clubs, art centres, rock gigs, festivals and dodgy pubs. And yes, once or twice I've had to fight. When a fascist hits a poet, the poet's doing something right. So listen up, this MC's here to stay. One of those years ago and still fired up today. I love words, and I've got this message for you. Poetry's not boring, though some poets bore you. And I have to say that some poets bore me. They're about as fun as a week on the lavatory, dull and pretentious, playing the art game. Real problem is, they give the rest of us a bad name, but I'm in the forward line, down there in the scrum of tedious, whining poets, up your bum. For some of the critics, it must have no good, but I earn my living at it, those jokes never could. Yes, because you see, I'm a little bit bolshy too, but that's just one of the ways I want to get through. Sometimes it's cerebral, dry, esoteric wit. Sometimes it's loud and wild and hard and rude as shit. I love words, and I love them in the red and raw. I like to use them in ways that have not been used before. I want you to laugh, I want you to think as well. Bollocks to TV, this is live as hell. Oral tradition, the real origins of poetry. Attila the Stockbroker, ranting rebel MC, Dean of the Social Surrealist University. Welcome to my wild poetic journey. Cheers. I guess you realise my life not seen it before. There is a little bit of a parental guidance on some of the words that I use in my performance. That's how it goes. That's what Nick put me for. The next one's actually about, well, it's many years ago. I wrote a poem called Russians and the DHSS. which was satirising the right-wing's obsession with the Russian threat and social security scandals. This is the new version. They claim their planet's dying, but soon it's going to blow. And so they're coming here, they say they've nowhere else to go. With their strange computer voices and their one eye on a pole, they're moving in next door, and then they're signing on the dole. Asylum-seeking Daleks are landing here at noon. Why can't we simply send them back or stick them on the moon? It says here in the Daily Mail, they're coming here to stay. The loony lefties let them in. The middle class will pay. They claim that they're not terrorists. That doesn't wash with me. The last time I saw one, I hid weeks behind the settee. Good Lord, they're pink with purple bumps. There's photos of them here. Not just extraterrestrial, the bloody things are queer. Yes, homosexual Daleks. And they're sponging off the state with huge Arts Council grants to teach delinquents how to skate. It's all here in the paper. I'm going to tell the wife, or soon they will exterminate our British way of life. This satire on crass ignorance and tabloid-fostered fear is at an end. But let me give one message, loud and clear. Golf course, shop floor, or BNP. Smash bigotry and hate. Asylum seekers, welcome here. You racists, emigrate. Cheers. I was saying that does sound well. One of the sad things about the way this country's going again is that occasionally, once again in the early 1980s, I used to get into fights with some of my anti-fascist poetry, and in the last couple of years with the rise of the EDL, I started to get into fights again, which is a real shame, because I'm 53 now, and getting into fights isn't something I enjoy as much as I used to. I never enjoyed it. It had to be done sometimes anyway. But this is a poem about getting older. Because I've been doing this for more than 30 years, and I basically feel the same, but I'm not the same. I'm 53, I'm not 23. And I went to the doctor a bit ago, and he told me I've got high cholesterol and high blood pressure. And I had to give up all the things I liked and start taking tablets. Well, I'm taking the tablets, and I've written this poem. It's called Too Much Pressure. This angry young man is still angry, but older. And now Father Time has just pissed on my shoulder. You've got to grow up, John. You're way past that stage. You've reached the condition they call middle age. It's time to be quiet. Say yes. Watch TV. High spot of the week, a nice dinner party. Polite conversation until you doze off. The topics, house prices, taxation and golf. That's golf, by the way, in case you're unsure. Not pale voting graveyards obsessed by the cure. They just look at you in your 70s gear with your punk rock and football and microbrew beer, political poems and loud angry songs. You still want to change things and right the world's wrongs. You stand up and shout, you get in a rage. It's really not right in a man of your age. On top of all that, and I don't mean to frighten, worst of all for your blood pressure, you support Brighton. They're not very good, you don't want to die, so sit on the couch and watch Chelsea on Sky. No! Sure, I'll take the tablets and drink a bit less. If you fancy a game, I might play you at chess. I hope that I'll make it till I'm 95. One thing's for sure, death, you'll take me alive. Cheers. And I always like it when my poems go out of date, and that one is well and truly out of date because Brighton are no longer not very good. We won the championship with 4 games to go. I'm the stadium announcer, and with me, we've got a new stadium next season, and we may be welcoming Wolverhampton Wanderers to our new stadium. Hopefully you won't. Hopefully we stay, but I can tell you that if you do come, there'll be real ale with the concourse bar, and the away end will be decorated out in old gold with pictures of people like Derek Dugan and Richards and all that lot that I remember from the 1970s. Anyway, I digress. This next poem is about us as people and the way that people are misled. All 3 of the speakers previously have talked about the way that people are misled and deluded by the right-wing media and by fascist organisations like the EDL. And this poem is actually very close to home. It's actually about my Auntie Frida. And my mum died recently after 6 years with Alzheimer's. We spent the last 6 years looking after her, which is one of the reasons I haven't been able to tour the world until quite recently, which is why, after she passed away last year, I've been finally able to go back to Australia and New Zealand, and I've just come back and had a really good time out there. But in all the long time that my mum was battling Alzheimer's, my Auntie Frida would come round occasionally to help. which meant being really bossy, which is very difficult with me, because you probably imagine by now, it's quite difficult to boss me around, but family circumstances. I decided to write a poem instead of performing at all my gigs. This is called Poison Pensioner. You may have somebody like this in your own family. If you do, I sympathise. I tried to work it out, but I just can't see how a cretin like you is related to me. You're just one brain cell, and that was a mess. Parroting rubbish from the Daily Express. No, not the Sun. You'll say that was a rad. Delusions of grandeur from a jumped up hag. But don't get ideas, you're as thick as a shoe. Poison pensioner, this poem's for you. I've got it up to here and I'm cutting up rough. Distant relative? Not distant enough. Ever thought of space travel? Prejudiced cow? I'd suggest Uranus, but you're up there right now. You've got a monochrome vision of a world that's dead, and reading a Reader's Digest inside your head. I like to put vomit in your cheese fondue. Poison pensioner, this poem's for you. You worked all your life in the public sector, and all you ever did was whine and hector, moan at the people who fought your cause, cheer for the Tories and their union laws. You were born in a council house, you clueless bitch. You side with the right and you vote with the rich, bowing and scraping to the privileged few. Poison pensioner, this poem's for you. You've a medal for meddling, that's for sure. If this was my house, then I'd show you the door. But my mum needs help, and you're here to see her. So I sit and I listen to your verbal gonorrhea. Right now, I wish I was in her head, because mum won't remember a word you said. Your compassionate act just got a bad review. Poison pensioner, this poem's for you. Bossy yet servile. Some combination. Paralysed spine of a lit-spittle nation. Could have been a builder, ended up a tool. Lifelong victim of divide and rule. You're a ragged-trousered philanthropist who wasn't even waiting for the boat you missed. You're a turkey voting for Christmas too. Poison pensioner, this poem's for you. Cheers. And I'm going to come back to the comments focus now. Some people don't even understand their own interests. It's quite mind-boggling. Some people will actually believe what it says in a tabloid newspaper rather than what the evidence of their own lives and their own existence tells them. Here's a different sort of poem now. A very different sort of poem indeed. This is about, well, it's a bloke's perspective on an issue which is very, very difficult for a lot of people. It's called Supermodel. Prepubescent imagery, empty, stupid eyes, waif-thin, tyrannical. No fat, no body hair, no character, no personality, no love, no brain. So thin and yet so thick. By your anodyne complicity in this gruesome stereotype, you connive in the corporate enslavement of your sisters, anorexia, bulimia, self-loathing, fear. They aspire to be like you, an unnatural creation of capital, wreck their bodies in the process, destroy their fertility, tear apart their lives. But hang on a minute, not my place to talk about that. I'm a man, what do I know? You're just trying to earn a living, what I'm saying has been said before. Okay. When the football blokes look and make some expected remark, I'm supposed to join in. I'm supposed to fancy you, or pretend to. Well, I don't, and I won't. More than that, you involve me. You give me an inversion. It's quite simple, really. I just don't desire a stupid Ant-Man's toy, styled to look like a prepubescent girl, a real babe, there in the tabloid next to the lurid description of Gary Glitter's downfall. I love a real woman. I won't have the body you advertise. I won't watch your latest films. I'm not interested in your Poxy TV series. I never set foot in that bloody car, and I hate you. I know I should just ignore you or feel sorry for you, but I hate you and your fashionist masters, bringers of misery, destroyers of individuality, harbingers of despair. Women and men, rise against diet. Stop the microchip revolution. Let's have a fish and chip one. Cream bun chocolate, lard, sagaloo, beer. Right against diet, smash fashionism, say goodbye to hello, make cosmopolitan. Let's have a real woman's realm. Take over the curry house with your freezer full of ice cream. Live, love, get real. Cheers. Thanks very much. I'll do one more poem, then I'll do a few of my songs and a few more poems after that, I think. What I'm going to do now, a bit ago, well, quite a long time ago it was now, we were all wondering, we were all thinking, we need a new vision for the left. It was the Blair company. We also, everyone, I'm sure I was, I know I was, I'm sure most of you were. In 1997, we were all so full of hope when we got Blair into government, and that hope so quickly just turned to disillusionment. And everyone said we've got to find a new way forward for the left. And I've come up with my own vision of a future for the left. And it's quite a new radical vision. It's quite a different direction as well. My new philosophy combines the caring, loving, pacifistic approach of Zen Buddhism with the political clarity of Stalinism and the lyrics of the Alarm. And this is the first time in Wolverhampton, the Zen Stalinist Manifesto. I'm the founder of the Zen Stalinist International. If anyone wants to become a Zen Stalinist, then please come and see me. Playing golf or being otherwise dull with malice aforethought, watching TV for more than 10 hours a week, discussing soap operas or any TV programmes or adverts in the case of a stand-up comedian on stage, becoming obsessed with the work of Quentin Tarantino, Damien Hirst or William Burroughs will become a criminal offence, punishable by 5 years enforced participation in a non-stop mime, juggling and face-painting workshop in Slough. The Berlin Wall will be rebuilt, only 5 metres higher. It will keep people out. People like the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, Lady Gaga, Price Waterhouse, Goldman Sachs, Jeffrey Archer, Vladimir Putin, Peter Mandelson, Boris Johnson and Morrison. Gary Bushell and Richard Littlejohn will suffer immediate retrospective abortion. In order to combat the increasing danger to civilised society posed by pig ignorant, misogynistic, right-wing, testosterone-poisoned road rage specialists, theme gulags will be introduced for anyone who drives a van with scratches down the side and shouts at or otherwise intimidates low-moving drivers at roundabouts or buy shares in industries which belong to him in the first place. These gulags are all situated on Rockall and have 3 themes: Saturday night in August for the Costa del Sol, auction day at the used car emporium on Shore and Seafront, and happy hour in a Harlow theme park. All themes are run 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and inmates will be able to nominate their chosen theme on arrival. No theme changes will be allowed, but clash albums, chess sets, and copies of The Ragged Trouser Philanthropist by Robert Tressel will be available for rehabilitation purposes. Tight security will be enforced. Theme gulags will be surrounded by large deep boats filled with soy milk and real ale, guarded by pit bullfrogs and kept under constant surveillance by hundreds of High Court judges watching from carefully constructed ivory towers. Tony Blair will finally be recognised as the traitorous war criminal he is, ready to spend the rest of his days cleaning up the toilets at the Glastonbury Festival. With his tongue! Every Western government leader and the entire staff of the United Nations will be forced to walk naked to the burnt-out towns and mass graves of what used to be socialist Yugoslavia, and then have the words "Marshal Tito was right" tattooed on their foreheads. The Zen Stalinist national curriculum will be introduced into schools. Albanian, both dialects, Geg and Tosk, will become compulsory as a foreign language. Reading Jeffrey Archer and supporting Crystal Palace will become not just highly illegal, but indicative of disturbed mental state requiring instant frontal lobotomy. The alarm will reform. All school students will have to attend morning assembly and sing the new national anthem, 68 Guns, by the Alarm. Mike Peters of the Alarm will become the new Welsh football manager with David Icke as his assistant. The royal family will be allowed to remain as figureheads, who will have to join the Alarm. Billy Bragg will become next in line to the throne and rhythm guitarist in the Alarm. All game show hosts, all TV cooks, and everyone who works for The Sun and the Times Literary Supplement will be shot. Their executions will be videoed, an acid house soundtrack will be added, and huge drink-off parties known as graves will begin. Ken Livingstone and his pet newt, Dennis, will become Prime Minister and Chancellor of the Exchequer. All privatised industries will be renationalised without compensation, and a huge TV and poster campaign will be launched saying simply, "Tell Sid tough shit." The Queen will be privatised and promoted the lead singer of the Alarm. The first Zen Stalinist 5-year plan will be published, declaring world peace and social surrealism, and the dark nightmare of monetarist madness will finally come to an end forever. Thank you. There is a vision for you. And now, with the aid of my Mandola, Nelson, I'm going to do a few songs for you. And there's only one place I can start. In 1986, the Americans bombed Libya. They said it was full of terrorists, so it needed to be bombed to protect its population. But of course they've just done the same thing again. I think maybe for the second time, there of Wolverhampton dependencies, this is a piece of traditional Libyan thrash metal. I'm sure many of you will be unfamiliar with Libyan thrash metal as a genre, but I'm going to demonstrate it. It is a satirical Libyan thrash metal song. Just look at us with the stories of the land, returning the Daphne's favourite band. We all eat babies and we're commies too. We've all got AIDS, so we'll give it to you with sailing tales and all the hoods. We're going to shoot everything that moves, but we don't care just what you say. So you sold us the weapons anyway. Don't mess with us, we're foreign, and we smell. We're the Libyan students from hell. If anything goes wrong or your car won't start, you can bet your life we played our part. If he doesn't win or you miss the bus, 10 to 1, it's all down to us. If a dog runs off with your coffee in the sun, it brings it back with the crossword done. If someone smacks you in the head or you fight John Major in your bed, we'll do it, and everything else as well. Cause we're living students for hell. There's nothing very prudent about a Libyan student, can't you tell? Nothing very prudent about a Libyan student from hell. Go break ball! We imported neighbours to these shores, personally started 3 world wars, broke your grand's common ocean mud, sodium both and all its drugs, brought the plague and the great fire too, brought the prices right to you, Joshua Maxwell over the side, got Mark Boner for his last rights, not Nicola, we're foreign, but we smell, we're the Libyan students for hell. Libyan students from 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 hell. Cheers. I hope I can play it properly because it's pretty new. Pretty self-explanatory actually. Okay, we've got to keep a hold of all our bankers because they're so clever and so talented, you know. And if we don't give them their bonuses of millions, then they'll just pick up their briefcases and go. But they're so clever that they bankrupt in the country and they're so talented our taxes bail them out. And the government is quiet by their puny little twits, but the rest of us just want to scream and shout. Go, just stop now, go. You can all leave your passports at the door. And there's something near your house, is your money in your car. You're not welcome in this country anymore. You're not welcome in this country anymore. Well, they gamble with our money on the markets, which is not the function of a bank at all. And they're paid 100 times for it. Someone who says, like, it's time to get with that once and for all. And so it's taxed until their testicles are tiny. We'll make their balances and tickets with the planes. And then we'll show the world how they can get along and fly without the talented enormous super brains. Go, just stop now, go. You can all leave your passports at the door. And there's something for your house, is your money in your car. You're not welcome in this country anymore. And you're not welcome in this country anymore. We already own some banks, well that's a good start. All we need to do is nationalise the rest. Make the backs work for the people, not the other way around, when speculators all under arrest. And if they choose to leave the country for the last time, if they dare to roll the wine or get it large, because then they're lucky they're not rotting in a gulag, because they would be if Attila was in charge. Go, just stop now, go. You can all leave your passports at the door. And you can't look for your house, is your money in your car. Cheers. This is a song I wrote on the day that the Blair government voted to support that illegal war in Iraq. And I was so angry. And I was on tour in the north of England, and I love history, I'm really interested in going to new places. And when obviously you played in the evening, you've got the daytime to explore. I went to Knaresborough, North Yorkshire, and I found a pub called the Mother Shipton Inn by the petrifying well in Knaresborough. And I went in there, and I got in Knaresborough because I knew it was the birthplace of Guy Fawkes, the only man ever to enter Parliament with honest intentions. And I was sitting in this pub, and I noticed that on the table where my pint was a plaque. It was a very old table, and the plaque said this table belonged to Guy Fawkes before he moved to London in 1605 to start the gunpowder plot. And in the next 20 minutes I wrote this song. A few of you I don't know it, you're very welcome to join in the chorus. In testimony to the fact there were some kids around, I'm going to change the word in the middle to something slightly less smooth. But the sentiment remains just as powerful. I'm sitting at Guy Fawkes' table. The day Parliament voted for war, but the mass of the people oppose it, and it flouts international law. I'm sitting at Guy Fawkes' table, while American thugs will get power. They're done by a sandal muppet, on his grave in a cowardly shower. And I remember your party is dead, and the time for a new one is nigh. You're the last person left. Please turn up the lights, you Labour, to soar and die. They won't be caught up in the carnage. They'll be pointing the pain right here. Their kids on the Iraqi conscripts go down what they're broken with fear. Saddam was the last chosen alive. On a wing they'll say he must fall. So they'll carbon bomb defenseless soldiers, and that's not mass destruction at all. And I remember your party is dead, and the time for a new one is nigh. You're the last person left. Please turn out the lights, you Labour, to sorrow and die. I'm sitting at Guy Fawkes' table, while Bush and his muppet connive, and I'm filled with unquenchable anger, and I'm thinking of 1605. One message dishonourable members who endorsed an illegal attack. No, I don't want a body like Guy did, but I'd love to send you to Iraq. And I remember your party is dead, and the time for a new one is nigh. You're the last person left. Please turn out the lights, you Labour, to sorrow and die. We need a new radical party, but not the Judean People's Front. Not another small sect, but a movement with the power to change and confront. We need an electoral system which gives every voter a voice, because we're fed up with voting for traitors, and we have the right to a choice. And I remember your party is dead, and the time for a new one is nigh. We're the last person left. Please turn up the lights, you Labour, to sorrow and die. And I remember your party is dead, and the time for a new one is nigh. We're the last person left. Please turn out the lights, New Labour, just